know that somebody lied. You know that somebody lied. And how did you know? How did you figure? Because they say that know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The whole time you thought you knew the truth, but yet you still felt like you were in bondage. The whole time you thought that you knew the real deal, but yet you still felt like you were mentally enslaved. Am I talking to somebody out there today? The whole time you were wondering, you said, how could this really be freedom? How could this really be the truth? If you know you've thought about this, let me know in the comment section. If you know that you had got to that point where you had to be brutally honest with yourself, you said, nah, somebody lied. Somebody lied. If you know that you had got to that point, let me know in the comment section. Because I know I can't be the only one that had got to that point. That point where you say, nah. Even if everybody else around me is choosing to go along with the flow, choosing to just say, yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. Even if somebody lied, I mean, it is what it is. Just got to get along with it because it could be worse. If you know that you already went through that, or you're probably hitting that right now, let me know in the comment section. You know that somebody lied. Somebody lied. And a group of people chose to go along with the lie. And after some time, since nobody ever challenged it, the lie started to feel like the truth. And since nobody challenged it, people lived the lie, and that lie in their mind became some type of a truth. And then when you took a step back from everything, you said, but there's levels to the lie. You said there's levels to the lie. You said, damn, first of all, they get you to believe the lie. And if you don't believe the lie, they start looking at you different. So you started to see that a lot of people was going along with the lie because they did not want to feel different. They wanted access to certain privileges. See how they got it all twisted, right? You saw it. You was like, yo, literally it's a system of thought that was expanded over time, and they found different ways to tightly knit it. And there was elements of truth in the lie. You later got to realize that too, right? You later got to realize that because they was trying to get others who probably would identify the lie to be the lie, they was trying to get them to be in on it, so they included certain elements of the truth in the lie to blur the lines. Because when you heard it at first in ignorance, you accepted it because you had nothing else to test it against, right? You had nothing else to test the lie against. But then, as you started to become more aware, you started to pay attention to society. You said, wait, hold on. Something isn't right. How come people are saying this, but then they doing this? How come they telling me to do this, but then they doing the opposite? And then they gonna say stuff like, do what I say, but not what I do. But then you realize that what they do has more effects, short-term and long-term, more than what they say. So you say, hold on. What you do does matter. What you do does matter. And for a cool minute, you almost allowed yourself to become just like them. For a cool minute, you said, yo, I'm trying to get access to some of these privileges as well. So that means I might as well just go along with the lie too. I might as well just play along because I don't want to be seen as the outcast. right? For a cool minute, you felt like you needed to play along. But then something started happening within you. Awareness. Awareness. You could not turn down the volume of that inner voice. That inner voice started questioning. And when you looked around, you really probably didn't even have people that you can even share some of these feelings that you were feeling, these questions that you had in mind, because everybody else would look at you and say, yeah, well, why are you even feeling that way? You can't prove it. Nah, this is what it is. 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 But you, chosen, you decided to take on that path that would allow for you to question with humility. You're willing to learn with humility. In fact, humility got you to even question. Humility got you to learn. And through awareness, you was able to start weighing things in your mind, and then you stepped out into the real world, and then you tested it, because you knew you couldn't just believe every thought, right? So you stepped out into the real world on your chosen path. You started realizing too that the more you questioned, the more you wanted to shift away from people. True or false? The more you questioned, the more you felt like you wanted to stay away from people. True or false? Because you started to see that some people probably was identifying that, yeah, somebody lied, but they was not courageous enough to voice it like you. But you were willing to ask. You say, yo, is it just me, or y'all not feeling this? Is it just me, or y'all not seeing that something isn't right? But then you also saw that people were just willing to go along because they was benefiting from the lie. Yes, you saw that a lot of people were benefiting from the lie, but you had it up to the neck. You said, nah, you gonna choose a different path. And that's why you're here. If this video came to you and you watching me right now and you listening up to this point, that means you chose a certain path. The chosen's path. You chose a path that reveals truth within you, and it exposes the lie in the world. And the world acts as if though they don't know the truth. Because we're now in a season where the truth is abundant. They might have threw dirt on the truth, but that could only be buried for so long, because the truth is like a seed. It's like pregnancy. It's showing. It's showing in different ways. And you also got to realize that the ones that's willing to just go along with the lie, they giving themselves over to certain deceptive practices. That's one of the reasons why you can't even get along with certain people in the world, because you've seen that they willing to deceive people. They willing to be misleading. They willing to lie as well. They willing to steal. They willing to be manipulative. They willing to do certain things that they wouldn't want done onto them, but they willing to do that to get ahead. You saw that. You saw that, true or false? So then you started wondering, where could you go to where people are not embodying elements that's associated with the lie? You probably moved around a little bit. What did you notice? What did you realize? You realized that it is not just in one place. It is everywhere. Why? Because the lie was spread all over the planet to subdue the minds of the masses. You realize that. So now you're stepping within yourself, because you came across knowledge that reminded you that you have to seek the truth within. You went deep. And now you're seeing that there are other souls on the planet just like you. There are other souls on the planet who had similar thoughts, just like you. They went through their phase of awakening as well. They had to sit with themselves. They had to question. They didn't know what to do with themselves. They got angry. Then they chilled off, got angry again, chilled off, went through the internal fluctuation of feelings. And then they got to go even beyond the realm of emotion because they realized that they had to govern themselves. They had to step within, find a way to be balanced, and then integrate, but integrate on terms that would not get them to be subdued to somebody else's foolery. Because once you step into isolation, you're not meant to be in isolation forever. That's because you're realizing that there is an imbalance in the world. And this imbalance echoed into you. And in ignorance, you adopted some of the principles of ignorance. And then now you shift it because you want to flush all of that out so you can tap into the real version of yourself, tap into the real power, real authority. Then you step out to be the real you. You live unapologetically in love, without fear, but yet still you are discerning, you're vigilant, paying attention, but you treat others as you want to be treated, and you maintain healthy boundaries. Yes. Yes. These are the days where you're realizing that you have to be at peace within yourself, but you cannot be at peace within yourself if the lie is still lurking within you. So you had to purge it out, and I'm proud of you. I just wanted to do this video to let you know that I'm proud of you for going through all that you had to go through, for dealing with all that you had to deal with, and you got to this point. I want to let you know I am proud of you. May God continue to be with you, continue to guide you, and protect you in all that you're doing as you are journeying through this planet in your temporary vehicle, your body. Stay anchored to God because God is the only truth. If this resonated with you, please do comment below. I always like to read feedback, positive, however you genuinely feel. Share, share, share. Until next time, do stay blessed.